Hazel's practice has always been having this interest in constructions of histories, imagined landscapes, of thinking about narratives of places, spaces. There's also this element of how do we invite viewers to participate or activate viewers. That was where I started a conversation with Hazel and Andreas to see if they would be interested to work with this space.
Hi, I'm Hazel. I'm a visual artist and I'm also an educator at the local University of the Arts. In this title, the Oort Cloud and the Blue Mountain has a lot of significance here because the Oort Cloud is a kind of belt of icy debris which is in outer space. I really like the name Oort Cloud because it is cloud but you can't really sense it. It is very far away, it is very imperceptible. There's really no way of kind of imagining what it may look like or how it feels like to experience this. So I like this idea of the Oort Cloud. And then Andreas, who is my collaborator and my husband, wanted to bring in this idea of the Blue Mountain, which is inspired by Kandinsky. The Blue Mountain, of course, is very earthy. It is something we can sense and it is part of our landscape and definitely something we can imagine.
The work in itself is a collaboration between Hazel, my wife, myself, and Hannah, our daughter, also has been part of it. This is the 4th edition of the project. 2019 in the National Gallery in Singapore, and then it traveled to the Netherlands and to Germany in 2020 and 2021. When it comes to conceptualizing the artwork, we kind of ping-pong ideas, so I think we're on the same level. Can you do another filter here? No, that's not nice.
Hannah played a really big part in the early conceptualizing of this installation. We thought we need to get our daughter involved because we are adults. We may have lost the sense of what children may like or what children may respond to. We used her drawings and the colors that she used as the basis of the forms and colors you see on the wall.
The work, the Oort Cloud and the Blue Mountain, is a quite abstract work, a playground for us to kind of think about abstract, imaginative places, which are then expressed either through analog or crafted means, but also digital means. Expressing myself artistically, I do mostly work with software. I write my own software. I just feel like that's my canvas, that's my brush, that's my pencil. And I feel quite comfortable with it.
I'm not so much a digital artist, my husband is, but since working with him, I really enjoy the sort of melding of the kind of art that I do, which is more analog, I suppose, and his, which is very much digital. And I really appreciate the sort of coming together, this sort of integration of art. So I hope people here in Singapore embrace that, that we have more of this digital work as part of the contemporary art scene. This work has already been made before in 2019 and has 2 iterations elsewhere. In every time this work sort of evolves, it is very site-specific and it is very much sensitive to the kind of space that is inhabiting. When we came to Tanjong Pagar Distripark, we really liked the space and also the sound because it is obviously a very industrial area. It is not your typical gallery or museum and it's not really indoor, it's partially outdoor as well. So we are very inspired by the sounds and also the colors and the kind of feel of this space. So I think just wanted to play along with this idea of the industrial and getting people to encounter art in a slightly different way.
We had identified several spaces which we thought would be interesting for artists to work with. The lift lobby became a very ideal canvas because of its size, its expanse, its visibility, right? It's like almost the arrival point, and it's really right before where Sam's museum entrance is. The work really is also talking about reimagined landscape, about tangibility and intangibility of perception, right? And so with that you need that wider field of vision And of course, then the cargo lift lobby space became an ideal site for this particular project.
Due to the nature of the space, we were not really able to add any physical interactivity. That's why we came up with this idea of adding QR codes, where the visitor or the user could scan these QR codes and would then be presented with digital or virtual objects that were coming from the Oort Cloud.
The QR content, there are 6 of them, will be constantly refreshed every quarter. So the first quarter we had when we first installed was by 𝘕𝘭𝘰𝘶. We asked him to be inspired by the Oort Cloud and the Blue Mountain idea and to come up with some AR content for the audience to be able to scan and be able to see some of these objects come alive. There was also an AI influencer. She was posing with the objects that were appearing in the background of her. So it was really very interesting how the work has kind of taken on another life.
The brief was mainly about space debris and very rock textured stuff. So I decided to dabble around with this augmented reality and create my own landscape, but in a way it's more spherical. Because with augmented reality 3D stuff, you can expand the whole object and basically you're inside this sphere. So my idea was to play around with like resizing the 3D objects.
Our involvement is the design of the vinyl stickers, the electronics, basically the custom hardware, and the production as well as installation of all the physical items. Understanding that it's Keppel outdoors and it's an industrial place, that was, I think, the difficult part, trying to think of solutions to sustain the work.
We also have some activation performances that we are working with Sam to coordinate. One of it is the Black Zenith. They are invited to compose and to improvise music. So they would be inspired again by the surroundings and the sound and the lights of the installation to perform live.
For this project, I'm mainly taking Darren's drum sounds and processing them through a lot of electronics, as well as using synthesizers and other electronics to generate sounds in reaction to. It's a kind of ecosystem of electronics. Andreas will be doing live visuals that will be reactive to the sound, and we'll be, of course, reacting to each other. We started collaborating in 2001, 2002, so I've had a long-standing artistic relationship with Andy, and it was just a very natural thing.
I think it's something that is so visceral when you first step into the building. It was quite unexpected because I've only seen the visuals of the work, but I haven't seen the audio accompaniments before, so it was very immersive and it was just fun and good vibes.
The way they are playing together, the process that they put together is very interesting.
Physically and mentally and emotionally, they're very new.
The best thing about doing art and looking at people observing my art is the questions that they are left with. Brings a different perspective towards how we view things, and I think it's okay to view things differently. For me, in Singapore, we need more questions to open up our mind.
Art for myself is a place where I can play and experiment. I think there's a certain freedom of thought. That's where I can experiment with imagination. That's where I can express inspiration.
I think art is an essential part because it makes us a lot more sensitive about things around us in terms of, sensorial perception about things. Having that sort of beauty and poetics towards things that may be very mundane is very essential. to make us see something more to life.